Good day, fellow observers. Today we're going to test for the first time version 13.2.1 and we're doing a target test. It's gonna be a 26-minute drive, 7.3 miles. Let me activate FSD. Okay, so I do think version 13 now has the capability to get out of a parked spot. So FSD was able to move out earlier, so now we have a van here and FSD stopped for it. Okay, good, and good slowdown here as well. Then we go ahead. Nice. As you can see, we have some winter weather going on, but there is not much of an accumulation on the road itself. So now we cross an all-way here. Okay, good adjustment for that pedestrian on the right. Okay, I was looking for that SUV if it sees me, and it kind of glanced to my direction, so that was good. Now we just crossed the green light. Okay, so we have an all-way here and we are stopped. And now we are crossing. Okay. Alright, good adjustment here by FSD. And now we continue straight and we have an all-way. Okay, good.
In 500 feet, turn left onto 209th Street.
Okay, so this car here is not looking. So
Now turn left onto 209th Street.
So good thing FSD slowed down and gave up the right of way, and now we made a left here. Okay, so there's an oncoming SUV. Good adjustment here, veering to the right a little bit.
Now turn right onto Northern Blvd.
Okay, so you'd see that bike and it kind of veered just a little bit to the right. Okay, so now we are at a stop and then we are looking for an opening and we see one. Good.
In 500 feet, turn left onto Clearview Expressway.
And now FSD is positioning for the left lane, which will become a left turn lane up ahead. So we have a green light here, but we are going to wait for the green arrow.
Now turn left onto Clearview Expressway.
Okay, now we have a green arrow. Okay, good.
Now take the Interstate 295 South ramp on the left.
Okay, good acceleration here. And good merge. And good lane change. Alright, nice. And I feel that it's smooth with its lane changing. Now we go back to the right lane, which will become a right
In
turn.
1,000 feet, take exit 4EW on the right onto Interstate 495 toward Long Island Expressway.
More like an exit ramp actually, not a right turn lane. Okay, good lane change here. Now it's using the left turn signal. In version 12, previous versions, it doesn't. It's kind of on and
Now
off.
take exit 4EW on the right. In 500 feet, take exit 4W on the right onto Interstate 495 West.
So that was good slowdown, momentary slowdown for that slowing SUV. Now let's see here. Okay,
now
we don't
take
have a
exit
problem.
4W on the right.
We just keep right. For a room. Oh snap, smart. Very nice. Very nice. So that was good. It slowed down and didn't really advance much for that merge. And now also it finds a spot to make a lane change to the middle lane. So that's nice. That's smooth, I have to say. I'm trying to see if FSD is going to move to the left lane, being that we are on a standard driving profile. I'm not sure what's the correct term here. That we are, yeah, supervised driving profile, we are standard. So that means we are not really on a rush as well. And that's why I think FSD is not using this passing lane, because it's not on a hurry mode. Okay, now if you see that there's snow on top of that SUV right in front, I don't think it's a good idea for me to be here. So I would have to make a lane change to the left lane. So I just did turn it on, because that might be a hazard. I think FSD will move to the middle lane soon. Okay, but good slowdown here, although it's on a heavy side. I might have slowed down earlier though.
In 1 mile, take exit 19 on the right toward Queens Blvd.
So now we make a lane change. Okay, let's see, we should have a window. Okay, good, smooth lane change. Okay, now we make a lane change here, so it postponed. But I don't want FSD to go to this lane right now, because there are trucks and we'll be, so I'm gonna press the accelerator here because FSD is kind of trying to spot a spot. Okay, so there is a car there, so there was an SUV that was merging to that right lane, and good thing FSD didn't move, and I think it noticed it, but my foot was on the brakes just in case. Okay, we do have a window after this SUV. Alright, good. Okay, so there is a truck. And good. Okay, good lane change here. It's like a slow moving lane change that is actually necessary. And shout out to that van who gave way for that. So I do think we are going to stay here until we exit. Was it thinking to exit here? I think it did, but it postponed whatever it was trying to make a lane change to. Now I do think we are at a time where this area is very busy, especially I'm recording on a weekend that is before Christmas, and usually this is always packed.
Now take exit 19 on the right.
Now we exit here. Okay, so we have a realignment of lanes here because of a construction. Now let's see if we can make a lane change. We do have some room, only if FSD would make a decisive lane change. Okay, good. So that was good.
In 500 feet, take the ramp on the right toward Queens Blvd. Now take the ramp on the right toward Queens Blvd.
Okay. Alright, now we exit here, and there's a bit of a queue. Usually we all readily just go down, so there's an accumulation, but I do think it's not that heavy, I'd say. Well, maybe it is. There's a long line right up ahead. Okay, so FSD will have to choose, and it's choosing the left side. So I'm just lowering the temperature here. I thought I did, but I think I did it only for when it's parked. So we are 7 minutes away, 0.3 miles. Okay, so we have a flashing yellow and we're able to advance. FSD is, I would say, smooth in advancing. Okay, now we have to stop here. Alright, so we have a flashing yellow back up now, and FSD is advancing, good. And I think it's a good thing that it's here on the left side at the moment because well, my thought process is because there's a delivery truck there, and I was thinking it might be harder if you're on the right side. But thinking about it now, I think it'll be about the same. So we are starting to advance here, and FSD will have to find a room to make a right. Especially at the moment, there are a lot of oncoming vehicles from the left side. Okay. Right, good. So it gave some way. Shout out to that SUV. And oh snap, there's a Jollibee here. I didn't know that. I just found out now. Okay, never mind guys. We're still going to choose the Jollibee at Woodside. So yeah, just want to put it out there. Okay, so we already have a green light. I just didn't say it earlier, just a little bit. So we are moving forward, and so far FSD will be going to the right lane, but once we cross the light up ahead, we are going to be on the left. So I think, okay, good. So it transferred to this left lane, but it's trying to go back. Now the thing is, once we have the green and cross it, there are double parked vehicles there, so we will still have to make a left. Now I'm not going to preempt on FSD to move back to the left lane. I just want, because I want to see how it will adjust to that scenario. Okay, so we have a green light. We are advancing. Okay, so we have another green light here, but there is a lot of things going on up ahead.
In 500 feet, turn right onto 56th Avenue. Then your destination will be on the left.
Okay, so we're gonna stop again. Okay, so we have a green light now. I do think we can cross, but we would have to move to the left lane. We might get stuck in the middle here if we don't start moving. Okay, it's kind of moving. Alright, I think we could cross. Okay, good. Okay, we could cross. And I could sense FSD is trying now to veer to the left. Yeah. And shout out to this SUV on the left giving way. So we have one more light and we turn right on this light.
Now turn right onto 56th Avenue.
Okay, FSD doesn't see that it has enough room, but I mean, we're not on a rush because this right side is blocked by a parked vehicle. So once it turns green, all of us will move anyway. So I'm not gonna do anything here. And FSD turned it off. And okay, so it turned it back on again, the signal. Okay, so we have a green light now. Okay, so that vehicle is, I don't think it's moving too, so. Alright, good adjustment here by FSD. It doesn't even say that it's parked. Okay, FSD is creeping. Okay, good. Alright, good. Okay, good turn. Now let's see.
Now your destination is on the left.
Okay, good. FSD is adjusting. Alright, so since we are here, I'm going to disengage and give my takeaways. So FSD was able to get out of its spot, and because version 13 already has that ability, I think it will always move out from here on. Well, maybe depends on the case, but let's see though for other tests. But earlier it was good and was able to make a right on stop, adjusting to oncoming vehicles. There was one though, and FSD was able to wait for it and made a right and was able to cross an all-way. And in one of those all-ways there was a pedestrian that it allowed to cross, and then we had a green light and then crossed several all-ways again, and FSD was very smooth at that. And then we made a left to 209th Street, if I'm not mistaken. And oh, by the way, there was this all-way before making that left, that there was this car who was very fast at an all-way, and FSD has the right of way but gave it up because that car was very fast and just accelerated right away. So I think that's good, and it is in these cases that FSD is cautious. Like, you know, if I'm using FSD but then no one's there at an all-way and I'm wondering why FSD is very slow, but still I think it's good standard practice to do that, because if you have those cases where cars don't stop, I mean, it stopped briefly, so that's kind of a risk there for a collision. Now we made a left, going back to the left, we made a left, and then it adjusted to an oncoming car and made a right to Northern Blvd and positioned itself for the left lane and then the left turn lane, waited for the arrow, for the green arrow, and then it was able to go to Clearview Expressway and merged. And actually, once it merged, it made a lane change to the next lane on the left so that it could pass over the slower cars on the right lane. And eventually FSD went back to the right lane and positioned itself to exit, and it went to the exit towards Long Island Expressway.
In 500 feet, turn left onto Van Horn Street.
And then also advanced and kept right, which was good. FSD also was able to find a merge, and the way that it merged was that it saw an opening and it really slowed down so that it could catch that window. So I would say that that is a very natural lane change, because that's how I would do it if I see that window for a lane change and slash merge. And then once it merged, it immediately went to the middle lane, and it was a smooth way. It has a smooth way of doing it, so that was good. After that, FSD stayed on the middle lane. Now the thing is, I encountered an SUV with still a bunch of snow on its roof, and it's blowing right in front of me because of the speed. So FSD decided to still be on the middle lane, but I had to do a, what do you call this, a proactive lane change. So I turned the left turn signal on so that it would move to the passing lane, and then it cruised on the passing lane, and then close to the exit it was able to position itself. It started moving to the middle lane, which was also good, and it was smooth. And the lane change towards the left, I mean the right lane, that's where it had some challenges, and for the most part it was able to see, because it tried to make a lane change, but then if it make a lane change, there were truck right up ahead and then there's a truck right behind. And so good thing FSD didn't go in between those trucks, and I do think I might have pressed the accelerator there, and then FSD still tried to make a lane change. No, I didn't press accelerator there. I think it just went forward, but when it saw a window, it was trying to do it. Now there was an SUV on ramp on the right side that's also merging to that same right lane, so I think I pressed the accelerator there. Okay, I'm mixing up, guys. It might be I pressed the accelerator during the truck lane change attempt, but safe to say there was no issue after that because FSD was able to adapt, and eventually it made to the right lane smoothly. And then also I do think it was able to make another lane change where there was a truck. Well, it didn't transfer to the right lane. When it went to the right lane, it did it at a slow lane change move because the truck right up ahead was not really far off, so it had to lane change slowly. I think that is a natural thing to do. If I'm driving, I would have done the same. Moving on, it was able to find the exit towards Queens Blvd and made a lane change to the right lane to prepare itself to exit on a ramp. Now FSD eventually had to choose which side of the ramp it would go to, and it chose the left side, and FSD was able to recognize the flashing yellow. It stopped for it and then advanced and then made a right turn on stop and was able to find a window. And shout out to the SUVs that gave way. And also FSD was able to adjust to cars that are on the same lane, but when it tries to pass over it, it went to the left lane, and then thing is it went back to the right lane. Then FSD got into a long stretch of waiting for an advance, for green lights, because even though it saw green light, the advance of other cars up ahead are so slow that we get the red light I think twice or 3 times. So FSD kind of waited there. Then once it crossed that light, it had to adjust and move to the left lane, and FSD was able to do that. FSD also was able to wait for the green there, and it went straight ahead. Now the thing is, it tried to do the right lane, go back to the right lane to make a right to the destination, but the car actually at the front of that right, at the end of the right lane, it somehow just parked. So I didn't know there was no hazard, there's no any signal that it's like staying or something like that. So FSD managed to go back to the left lane and then made a right while adjusting to passengers. Pedestrian. So overall, it was a smooth drive, reasonable drive to my estimation, much more smoother than version 12. So I'm looking forward to test more scenarios, and I'd like to see how it would go out of its parked spot. So those are all my takeaways for this test, and if you find this video helpful or of value, please like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. Bye!